So today we're going to be repotting some of my sister's plants that are not doing so well. So these are some little pots. Some of these we thrifted from Goodwill today, and then some of them we got at Walmart actually. So those white ones are Goodwill thrifted. The darker one, that one right there, is from Walmart. Super cute. It's like 11 bucks. This was also thrifted at Goodwill. Very cute. Shallow planter. Right, this is a basket. This came, it was a gift from a funeral, so they're all mushed up in there together and absolutely no drainage. Terrible situation. It has been living like that for over a month. So today it's getting a new home. These plants are getting a new home. This is some cuttings that I made for her. They're just pothos. Literally just regular schmegular pothos. They've been in that water for several months. Rooting, so they have a great root system. We'll get those in a pot today as well. Look at all those roots. This is her peace lily. It's big. It's probably in a 1-gallon planter. She was watering it without taking it out and not letting it drain, so it's tripping. We had to make some grower pots for her because she didn't have any, so we used icing tubs, rinsed those out real well, washed them out, and put holes in the bottom. Those are the icing tubs in the little thrifted pots. This was a Downy Unstoppables container that we cut in half and we put holes in. This is how I make my potting soil for all my plants. I do potting mix, and I kind of just eyeball it. I don't have a specific amount that I use. I just do it till it feels right. But I'm going to make some fresh soil for these. So that's the potting mix going in. I'm also going to use some perlite. This helps to create aeration. Also retains a little moisture, but not too much. And all of these bags are about $6. These are the smaller bags. And then this is orchid bark. This is a medium that gives you a lot of aeration. It is chunky. It's almost like mulch, pretty much like mulch. So this gives you some texture, breaks up that soil, lets that water move through so it can drain down, and lets air move through to your roots. Roots need air too. And I just top it off with, this is a little singles to go. I actually use Super Thrive on my plants, but we were at Walmart. They had this. It was $1. So I got some, and this is my sister's plants, which she'll probably kill. So I'm not going to put too much money in them, honestly. Just go ahead and pre-soak this mix with this plant food. This is a direct liquid plant food. So you just pour it directly on your soil. So that's why I'm going ahead and pouring it directly on my mix before I mix it all together. In there, I had her give me some kind of a stirrer, so she did. So we're giving this a good mix and just making sure we get it all incorporated, making sure that all of the moisture that I put in there, that we kind of spread that about evenly as well. And this is so satisfying to me, just mixing and stirring up stuff. I don't know why. And I'm just kind of scooping up the bottom, making sure that I've got everything good and incorporated. I got tired of that little stick, so here we go. We're just digging in. And I'm just checking it to see if it's the consistency I like or the texture I like. Honestly, it wasn't. And at this point, I could have put more orchid bark in and a little more perlite. I didn't, but I'm going to later. But that's kind of how it looks like. This isn't a bad mixture. I just like mine a little more chunky. So here was the basket planter. These came out super easy because they were never really planted together. They just plop them in there and plop soil on top. So we got a Dracaena, we got an Aglaonema, a prayer plant, or a Calathea. Struggling. That's struggling. I can't believe it's still alive. That is another type of a Dracaena, I think. And then these are just philodendron. Those actually look pretty good to have been in the same situation as the others. So that is what they were in. It's pretty much just soil. There's a little perlite in there, but nothing else. So that's when I added more orchid bark and perlite. And because this planter was shallow, I did have to cut this down. This is what came in the basket. I had to cut it down because it wouldn't fit. And now I'm punching holes in it for some drainage. And I'm big on just using your resources. You just use what you have. Y'all don't have to go out and buy all this fancy stuff. I'm sure you have something around the house that you can utilize. So I'm adding more perlite at this point because I realized, I need some more. So now we're just going to pot up the pothos first. Or actually not pothos, I'm sorry, philodendron. And I'm putting some of my mix down. And I'm actually using some of the soil that they came in because I didn't want to shock it too off the bat. It's been in those conditions for a couple of months, since probably November, end of November. So I didn't want to shock it too bad. Because I did add fertilizer to it, and sometimes fertilizer can burn sensitive roots. So these plants are already struggling, so you just want to be a little bit tender with them. So I'm going to kind of give them some of their own soil just to so they don't feel so shocked. And you just kind of lay them in there. This is a shallow planter, but like I said, these things grow. They are kind of a spreading and binding plant, so it doesn't have to be super deep to be potted in. Eventually, once it outgrows these, I will repot them. But for right now, this will do. These are just simple cuttings. Looks like somebody cut some and propped them in water. They don't have extensive root systems, so this will do just fine. Just going through here, picking off any dead, any yellow, anything that I don't like, I am taking out and throwing away. Yellow, no, pulling it out. Just popping these little cuttings down in there. They're flimsy. They're not too sturdy, so with it being a shallower planter, it does take a little bit more time to get them situated. And anytime you have these, unless you have a teeny tiny pot, they're always going to look a little naked and sparse when you first get it started. But once it starts to grow and flourish, it will fill in quite nicely. These are very easy to care for. Just when your soil feels dry, you throw some water in it, let it drain real good, give it some light. It will do just fine, pretty much in any conditions. So at this point, we got it potted up, popping it in there. Look how cute. And once that gets good and full, it will be so nice. And that cute little stone planter. That's it. How cute.